Welcome everyone. Free training video, what makes an outstanding investment property and how to find them. Let's cut the BS, get straight into it. So where you should buy. Because everyone's different. So where you should buy as an individual. Let's talk about that. So where you can afford to buy the best possible asset is where you should buy. Trust me, I hate when people say, they always ask me, where's the next up and coming suburb or up and coming city? Look, every capital city has its term. Right now, it's Perth. By the time you go to buy in Perth, maybe it's slowed down. You know, a few years ago, it was Brisbane. A few years before that, it was Melbourne. Every capital city has its turn. You should focus more on what you buy rather than where you buy. Far more important. If you live in a country town and you want to have, say, a principal place of residence, that's still fine. Country towns can perform very well as long as it's got a good, strong local economy. What you really want to focus on is what you're buying. If that asset that you're purchasing is going up in price each year and it has evidence of that, that's all you want. You don't want a mining town or a up and coming suburb, all this BS. They're gimmicks. They don't work. Every property investor knows this, and in Australia, they have scattered their investments everywhere in every capital city because every capital city has its turn and they understand that. Okay, but it is important, of course, to buy in a good pocket. It's a real estate term. It just means a quiet, nice street, basically. So where a typical family would want to live. So not on a main road. Perhaps the kids can kick a ball in the street. You know, it's close to shops. They can walk to the shops. They can walk to school, but not too close to school because you can get more traffic, foot traffic and car traffic. So close to schools, close to shops, just really where a family would want to live and grow up. That's what I like to call a good pocket. So I hope that makes sense where you should buy as an individual. So perhaps you know Brisbane really well, or you know Adelaide really well, then buy there because you know those areas really well. And trust me, if you're purchasing a good asset, and we're going to speak about this soon, then that's all that matters. It's not really about where you buy. It's more about what you buy. Okay. So what you should buy. So houses perform significantly better over time compared to apartments, units, and townhouses. There's a lot of people that say that, you know, units are good for cash flow, etc., etc. But a lot of the time, I feel like these people they own the apartment buildings, so they want you to purchase them because all the evidence shows that they're shit. They really don't perform well over time. Houses always perform better. So typically, I'd like to purchase an investment property that's on a minimum of 450 square meters. So it's the land that's scarce. There's only a certain amount of land in Australia and in the world. So that is what's scarce. When you buy an apartment or a unit, you're buying, say there's 10 apartments in a block, you're buying 1/10 of that block. Does that make sense? That's what you're paying for. So let's buy a good asset, a good house on a big block with as much land as possible because that's what the value is in, okay? So must have great bones with no structural issues. Minor things are okay. Needs a paint job, needs carpet, maybe needs a bathroom reno, not straight away, but down the line, that's fine. But no structural issues, no cracks in brickwork, no structural issues in the rafters, in the roof, the trusses, a floor that's uneven. In these old houses, old timber floors, a lot of the times they need restumping. That's just going to blow your profit margin out the window. So we want no renovation jobs and no structural issues, okay? We're not flippers. We're property investors. We don't want any renovation jobs. Unless you're a tradie or something, that's different. We're not playing around with that. We want to purchase the best possible asset and just sit on it. That's what we're doing. So we also want no significant planning overlays. So a planning overlay would be like it's in a flood zone. Perhaps the property's in a flood zone. It's in a flame zone. What else could there be? There's heaps of stuff. An agriculture zone. there's heaps of different things. You can get a planning report, probably from the local council, and before you purchase the property, and it will tell you what kind of planning overlays it has. If it has too many, down the line, people are going to be scared and they're not going to purchase it, and there's going to be less people going to purchase your property, which is going to mean that the demand goes down, which means the price that you get is going to be a lot less. And down the line, if you're buying in a really good area and you're buying a big block, developers are going to come sniffing, and they don't want any planning overlays, okay? And they don't want any easements either, which is the next point. No easements, no significant planning overlays that are really going to hinder developers down the line. I hope that makes sense. So every property investor knows there's only 4 qualities your property needs to be successful. Building integrity is number 1, which we just spoke about. It needs to have great bones, and it's going to hold for 50, 70, 1,000 years. That's what we need. It needs to have good, strong bones. It doesn't have to be brick or anything like that. Just as long as it's structurally sound, that's all. Okay. Capital growth. This is the most important one. Well, really the most important is the building integrity, because if it falls over, that's no good. But this is the second best. Capital growth. It should be your priority. As long as it's standing up and it's got good bones, it needs to be going up in price, compounding each year. I like to purchase properties that are going up minimum 9 to 10% per year. So if you've got a $600,000 property, it's going to be worth $660,000 in the next year. After that, it's going to be worth, $66,000 plus that. What's that? $726,000. And each year it's compounding from the year before. This is what allows you to purchase more property down the line. So capital growth is the most important. Okay. Rental yield. We're going to rent it out. Of course we are. So how does it perform in the rental market in comparison to the price? You need to assess the rental yield, of course. Not as important, but it is important. And then the vacancy rates. We want it leased out as much as possible. So a vacancy rate is just a percentage representation of how many properties are for lease at one time in that suburb. So if it's got a high vacancy rate, that's not good, because it means it's going to be on the market perhaps for 6 weeks, and that's money that's coming out of your pocket. You're going to have to pay the full mortgage with no rent to help you. Okay, so yeah, capital growth should be your focus, but they all play their part. So vacancy rates and rental yield are all about how it performs in the rental market, and then capital growth is the most important. This is what's going to make us rich. This is what we want. Capital growth. Okay, how are you going to do this? I can do this for you. You can pay me to do it for you. I'm a buyer's agent. I can do this for you. I can find the properties for you. I've showed you what I do. This is what we do. So I can do it for you. Book in a call. Let's have a free chat. Or what I can do is I can just teach you how we do this in-house. I can give you the system that I use every single day to purchase investment properties for clients. If you want to find out more, book in a call, whether you want me to do this for you or you want me to teach you how you can do it for yourself. Book in a call. It's a 15-minute chat. No strings attached. No hard selling. No BS. Let's just have a chat and see where you're at. Okay, guys. Hope you learned something, and hopefully I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.